Hello everyone, my name is Samantha Torres and I will be presenting on psilocybin, also known as magic mushrooms. So, what is psilocybin? Psilocybin is a naturally occurring psychedelic drug. It is not very common on the streets, but when it is consumed, it is converted into psilocin, which is a chemical with psychoactive properties. It is classified as a Schedule 1 drug for its high potential for abuse and its lack of accepted safety for use under medical supervision. Right here where the pictures are, on the upper right hand side you can see what are dried mushrooms, and these contain 0.2 to 0.5% psilocybin, and the lower left hand side shows fresh mushrooms. The top is a cap, and the long thing coming from right under it is called the stem. And underneath the cap you can see what are called gills. Now, the only difference between fresh and dried mushrooms is just that dried mushrooms have had 90% of water dehydrated from them. Mushrooms are orally ingested. They can also be turned into capsules by grinding up dried mushrooms into a powder, and that powder can also be added into things like chocolate bars or gummies. Psilocybe comes from its principal source of the mushroom known as Psilocybe mexicana. It was first used by natives of Central America over 2,000 years ago. On this left-hand side, you can see photos of mushroom statues from Guatemala that date back to 100 BC. The Psilocybe mexicana mushroom was identified by Gordon Wasson in 1955, and the active ingredient was extracted just 3 years later by Albert Hofmann, who also synthesized LSD, which is another psychedelic drug that has similar effects to mushrooms. Mushrooms also are known as just shrooms, mushies, blue meanies, golden tops, liberty caps, magic mushrooms, and the natives used to call it God's flesh. The effects of psilocybin depend on the person, but they usually begin within 30 minutes once they're eaten, or within 5 to 10 minutes if they're taken as a soup or a tea, and the effects can last up to 4 to 6 hours. So the effects of psilocybin depend on a person's tolerance, the individual's size and their health, the setting, which refers to their environment, the potency of the shrooms, and the amount that they've taken. 4 milligrams usually equals a pleasant experience, feelings of relaxation, and some body sensation, and this is what I refer to as the trip. Higher dosages can cause longer trips with larger perceptual and body image changes, as well as hallucinations. Some other physical effects include dilated pupils, stomach discomfort and nausea, fast or irregular heartbeat, headaches, and increased body temperature. The use of magic mushrooms rarely ever results in life-threatening symptoms. However, the danger lies with incorrectly identifying psilocybic mushrooms because they look extremely similar to poisonous ones. So it may happen that someone accidentally poisons themselves because they think that they're eating a psychedelic mushroom when in fact they're eating a poisonous one, which I have pictured right here to the right. If a large amount of psilocybin is ingested, it may result in things like agitation, vomiting, loss of coordination or muscle weakness, panic and paranoia, or psychosis. A bad trip may involve unpleasant or intense hallucinations, and a few of the aforementioned symptoms such as feelings of panic because people can overthink things or just start feeling very negative feelings and feel like they're trapped in that sort of thought process. So as I mentioned before, psilocybin is listed in Schedule 1 of the Controlled Substances Act, which makes it illegal to grow or possess magic mushrooms for either personal consumption or distribution. It is, however, used for scientific research under strict conditions with a special license from the DEA. Some studies have shown that psychedelic drugs such as mushrooms can help certain mental states such as depression. Mushrooms have a relatively low toxicity, so they're not extremely dangerous to a person's health, and they're also not addictive because some people have such negative or intense experiences with mushrooms that they do not wish to go back to use that drug. Apparently, there are some health benefits to magic mushrooms. As of today, there are many studies being held to evaluate the medical safety and efficacy of psychedelics, including psilocybin. Strong evidence suggests that psilocybin may be beneficial for many psychiatric disorders, personal and spiritual development, and creative enhancement, but it also has the capacity to cause mental problems. The effects of magic mushrooms very much depend on the individual because they may have some sort of pre-existing health condition that just alters their experience with shrooms in general. Some researchers at the Johns Hopkins Medical Center have revealed that psychedelic treatment with psilocybin relieved major depressive disorder symptoms in adults for up to a month. In a follow-up study of those same participants, the researchers found that the substantial antidepressant effects of psilocybin-assisted therapy, in addition to supportive psychotherapy, can last for at least a year for some patients. And this may just have to do with the fact that magic mushrooms have a very large effect on the autonomic nervous system. That about wraps up my presentation. I hope you guys learned a lot about mushrooms as much as I did and that you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you.